So this is Action Comics #1. Not the original Action Comics #1 from 1939.
Thanks for clarifying. I'm sure they were confused.
But this does show how committed DC is to this renumbering project. Action Comics is like number 800 or something like that. I mean, that is like the longest running, or along with Detective Comics, one of the longest running
at least
comic books out there. Never been renumbered, but nope, starting over, brand new Action Comics #1. So this was kind of the big book this week.
Yep, exactly.
The creative team on this one is Grant Morrison, who we just discussed in our review of Animal Man, another top writer at DC who's been doing work on Batman and lots of other things. And Riggs Morales is the penciler on this. Grant Morrison, most recently with Superman, he did the All-Star Superman, which was kind of like the All-Star line was kind of like a previous attempt by DC to kind of revamp some of their kind of more well-known characters with continuity-free versions. He did that was a really good book, All-Star Superman, written by Grant Morrison with art by Frank Quitely. So I like that one a lot. That was kind of an homage to the Silver Age Superman, the kind of Mort Weisinger era Superman, which I love. This is more not just an homage, very, very much so based on the Golden Age Superman, which is quite different from the current Superman and the version of Superman that most people know. If you know about comics history and you know about the original Superman, as Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster wrote it the first couple of years, if you've looked at those comics, that Superman is a very different character than the Superman most people are familiar with. And that's the approach that Grant Morrison takes here. So we have a young Superman operating in Metropolis, and he's, this is early in his career, so he's kind of a mysterious figure. And he is a vigilante. The police do not like him. He runs from the police. He's shot at by the police. He's being shot at by the police in the cover of this book. And he kind of goes around strong-arming these, kind of corrupt corporate people and criminals in various levels of Metropolis society who maybe, for one reason or another, have escaped the regular avenues of law enforcement. Superman kind of rolls up his sleeves, bashes down the wall, and kind of holds them over a precipice and kind of terrorizes these people. And that's how those Golden Age Superman comics were. So Grant Morrison is very deliberately, very unapologetically putting forth that version of Superman. The splash panel that introduces this comic was one that I loved. Superman had broken into this penthouse or whatever, where these corrupt, kind of businessmen were, kind of modeled after some real life figures, and he's holding this corrupt businessman up over the city. He's on like the ledge. The police are there. They've got their guns on Superman, and the guy who Superman is holding up is saying to the police, "Save me," in big words, which of course is what you're used to people saying to Superman. Like, "Superman, help, save me." This guy is saying it to the police because Superman is the one that is scaring him. He's a much darker character here. So obviously I had a lot of fun reading this issue. I did like it. I really like Grant Morrison, and I didn't quite know that was the approach he was going to take to this. I'm sure he's talked about in interviews that I just haven't read. So I was delighted to find that. Also, like the Golden Age, he's depowered Superman considerably. So he leaps rather than flies. He's not quite as invulnerable as he has become in later years. He attempts to stop a train in this issue, and he sort of does, but it's not, just putting up his hand on the train. So, you know what I mean? He's not as all-powerful of a character as he has since become. He's not working yet at the Daily Planet either. Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen are working at the Daily Planet. So obviously he's not married to Lois Lane, and I don't think that relationship's really gotten started yet. So this really is a very much really back to basics approach, and it's going all the way back to the golden age for this version of Superman. Lex Luthor is in it. So yeah, I liked it. I thought that the idea of bringing Superman back to that golden age kind of persona was an interesting one, and I hope it remains interesting throughout the run of the book. But in this first issue, it was certainly a lot of fun. I really like seeing this kind of young, kind of tougher, kind of scarier version of Superman. So I liked Action Comics #1 quite a bit.
All right, yeah, I do think that this new Superman, this new Superman is pretty awesome. I mean, I like that he's like this troublemaker, kind of the dark. He almost does like something like Batman would do, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I think they really needed to do something with Superman because he hasn't worked for people. Haven't really been responding to him for a while. It seems like so they needed to do some kind of a retcon. And I think this is a really good way to go. I don't know. I kind of like that troublemaker, like cops after him type of thing that's going. But they still keep that Clark Kent, goofy like persona in place, which works. Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, I think, kind of get the shaft a little bit in this one, but obviously they're going to be fleshed out later. And
I'm sure they have some good stuff planned. And I also don't know how this Superman book is going to relate to the other Superman books. Because obviously, he's in like a t-shirt and jeans. I mean, he's dressed as Superman, but it's not the full Superman armored outfit that we see in the last page of Justice League. So I don't know if like Action Comics will always be set kind of in the past a little bit, and the other Superman books will be set more contemporary. So I'm not sure how it's going to relate to all the other Superman books. Of which there are several. But in and of itself, having just read this one, I really liked it. It was good.
Yeah, and I thought Lex Luthor was set up really well, and I like his kind of scheme that he kind of played with us a little bit like throughout this issue, and it ended on a really like solid note. I felt like.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed that aspect of it too.
Grant Morrison had a lot of fun here playing with the kind of classic elements of Superman, leaping tall buildings with a single bound, more powerful than a locomotive, which comes into play. Yeah, it was good. And Grant Morrison's a really great writer. He's really capable of constructing these superhero comic books just kind of perfectly. He hits these kind of wonderful little story beats, and there's little Easter eggs in there for longtime fans of Superman, like Jimmy's cell phone ring. People will recognize if they know the old Jimmy Olsen comics. So there's stuff like that, but mostly it's just kind of a fun, pretty radical departure from what we've seen from Superman. So.
But I like it.
Me too. Good stuff.